reason why we are here today. There was a motion by Senate Majority and Minority Leader on Wednesday, 24th July 2024. And the Senate resolved that we seek information on a number of issues, the issues which are in your folder. In a sitting of Thursday, 18th August 2024, this committee decided to call 47 governors. If you can take us through.
Thank you. Mnajua nawapenda sana. This committee has a lot of history. Just by way of introduction, I was the first chair of this committee in 20. Cohesion and equal opportunities. It was set up to have members of National Assembly and Senate. Back then, and you can imagine, Honorable Kaiseri, the late Senator Obure, the late Senator, people my father's age, 15 members from National Assembly, 15 from Senate. But we achieved so much. We visited 34 counties to make sure there is peace. You can see then in Turkana South, Lokwar Nakuse, we went to Mginyang, we went to Baragoi, Nasola, Ward in Samburu North, where the MC there, I remember, was from Turkana descent in Samburu County. His name is Lawrence. And the former member of parliament of Samburu North, Bentoi Manga, was the vice chair of security, and the chair of security was one called Asman Kamama. But they were the biggest cause. Was to put this committee as one of the only committees that is mentioned in statute. In 2015, in the Public Procurement and Disposal Act amendments, when we introduced 30%, which was actually my bill, what we're discussing today, 30% for women, youth, and persons with disability, I put in an amendment to say that every year, 6 months, this committee must receive a report from every procuring entity on whether they've given preferences and reservations to young people, women, and persons with disability. And I put the committee's name by name, the committee in charge of equalization of opportunities. And so, Senator Chute, you're standing in a good place as chairing this committee. In the last term of parliament, this committee became inactive. I really pray that we can bring back the reason we had this, because in our country, we will never unite our country. You can never have cohesion without equalization of opportunities. Somebody born in Baringo, in Nanyuki, in Nairobi must know that their child has the same chance at life. The prerogative for equality of opportunities is so important. And when we have that, then no one will ever care who becomes president. Because they know whether my child is born in Lamu, or Nairobi, or Kisumu, they can have the same shot at life. They can be somebody. Because every Kenyan wants the same thing: to go about their lives peacefully, to make something out of themselves, and to guarantee their children a future. That is something I believe fundamentally. So I'm very honored and privileged to be here, personally, and allow me to go through my responses, Chair. The first question was on the demographic composition of the employees of Nairobi City County government in terms of gender, persons with disabilities, age, and ethnicity. The number of staff we have is 16,321. It's the biggest because we also have the biggest population. We serve 5 million Nairobians. Actually 7 million during the day and 5 million at night. The number changes at night. Of that number, men are a minority. 7,661 are male, 8,660 are female. I have put annexes where we have that breakdown in Annex A. So that is in terms of the total establishment. In terms of persons living with disability, we have 172 staff living with disability. Again, the female are more, 90 of them. and the male are 82, coming to 172. In terms of age, and I think this is a success story, before I became the governor of Nairobi, less than 10% were above 50 and retiring. But since we're able to hire our green, that demographic. And so we have one 18-year-old, we have 3,419 and 29, we have 4,164 between 30 and 39, 3,265 are between 40 and 49, 5,398 are above 50, sorry, between 50 and 59, and above 60 is 74. What this means in terms of economic planning is then that in terms of pension, we really must prepare ourselves. The coming few years, we'll have a lot of retirement in the county government of Nairobi because they retire at 60. Those above 60 are mainly those who hold statutory positions like deputy governor or chairman of, those ones are allowed. They don't have to be below 60. The composition in terms of ethnicity, Nairobi is the most inclusive county. I know you've seen many reports from many counties where everyone is from a homogeneous community. Nairobi, we have 42 communities in the county government. In fact, something surprising I've just noticed, even here, everybody who introduces themselves is from a different community. The county secretary is from Western, the CC Barrows is from the mountain, which we are not touching. The chief officer is from Nyanza. We're massaging the mountain. The supply chain director of procurement is from Kisii. The CEC finance is from Bomet. Joyce? Yeah. My PA is from Ukambani. Which county actually? Machakos. And me, I'm international. The public service board representative is from the mountain. You can see the mountain as true. Now, if you look at the composition, out of 16,321, the highest is the mountain, 6,173 from Kikuyu, 2,370 from Luo, Namlolwe, Kambas, 1954, Luyas, 1945. I'm sure you expected that number to be higher, but it is not. Yeah. Kisii 1360, Kalenjin 899, including Kerich and Tirop. Meru 469, Embu 221, Masai 144, Somali 123, Taita 101. The Somalis we need more actually because they're many in Nairobi. Mijikenda 76, Mbere 74, Kuria 59. I think I have more Kurias in my county than in Migori even.
Governor, don't go through all.
I don't need to go through all. Okay.
Yes.
In terms of the county executive committee, okay. 20. There are 20 Tarakas. Pokomo, Basuba, Burji, Gosha. They say something else. We'll work on it, Chairman. But even Hawaiian, James, Sakuye, everyone is in Nairobi. Normally, when you do this analysis, some don't wish to state their community for many reasons. For politics, I don't know. They don't say. But this is what we have in terms of our analysis. Now, at the top level of the governance of the city, you have the County Executive Committee and chief officers. We have 10 CEC members. I have 2 of them here. And we have 29 chief officers. I have 29 different subsectors. The total is 39. Of the 39, 26 are male, 13 are female. Meaning we actually subscribe to the 2/3 rule. Exactly. But I found the female are better than these guys. And I would wish to have more. They serve very well. Next time it will be the other way around. Yes. The female are diligent and they're very good. In terms of personal disability, at the CEC and chief officers, we don't have anyone living with disability at that level. And this is also an example of where people don't declare it. Because from my view, when I see them, I know they're true. But if they don't say it, I can't force them to say it. But I know there are two of them. In terms of age, I have 30 to 39 years old, I have 15. I have the youngest cabinet in this country. I have the youngest CEC member, who is 30 now. I'm in charge of health, wellness and nutrition. Her name is Susan Sirantoi. She became a CEC at age 29, and she's a Samburu. In terms of 40 to 49, 10, 50 to 59, 12, 60 and above, 2. We mix age because there's beauty in the wisdom of the older and the energy of the young. One of my CEC members who is here with me joined City Hall the day before I was born. In 1985. He joined on the 1st of February, I was born on the 2nd of February. And so I have that spread from him. He looks very young. You look very young. He is the encyclopedia of land in this country. He can tell you a large number without knowing your name. That's good. So from SG Mwangi, Kadhuita to Susan, who is now 30, that is a breadth and span. So we mix age, we mix community, we mix ethnicity. In terms of the CEC members and chief officers, we have 2 from Kalenjin, 3 Kamba, 15 Kikuyu, 3 Kisi, 5 Luya, 6 Luo, and the rest are 1 Murule, Meru, Ogaden, Samburu, and Somali. The third issue, Chairman, on the recruitment we've conducted in the last 3 years. In 2021-22 financial year, we recruited quite a number I've listed there. Constables, 498, early childhood, the biggest was ECD teachers. ECD is very important. And we did 498. In fact, this year we want to recruit more ECD teachers because we're building 1,500 classrooms across the city for ECD. Clerical, fire, disaster management, cooperatives, etc. They're there before you. And traffic marshals. But that time I was in the Senate, though I still take responsibility. Financial year 2023 is when we just got into office. We recruited more of the senior staff in terms of directors and deputy directors, assistant directors, as explained there. 41 traffic marshals. I think the largest component there at that time was culture and heritage assistant officers, job group H, 34 of them. And also county chief officers. That's when I got my chief officers. I did 27 at that point, and my CECs, and 1 chief of staff, and my advisors. Photographer, etc. It is there before you, Chairman. I'm told other counties brought the full list of IPPD payroll. I can provide, if you allow me, within the week on Monday. Janet Opiata can provide the actual payroll data. It is available. It's on IPPD. It's a system that is national.
That's good.
That's good. Provided.
You are going to give us when, madam? Can you go on record, please?
Chair will do that by Monday.
Thank you very much. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My team, I really looked for merit. Janet is one of the best in human resources. I am yes, I said no. You must stay very good profession. So questions of peers we can ask. This Mwangi is in terms of issues of built environment. I looked at merit. While the county secretary acting has been a public officer at the national level at the county, and I'm very blessed to have my team like this. Even Mogoko is a superstar in procurement. He can do it with his eyes closed. In supply chain management, Richard.
It's good.
Yeah. When you go to the which is that has just ended. through here. And we say, tulitoka tena kwa Dimanga, tunatoka kwa Mawe. We hired 3,500 young people to join what we call our Green Army. We had 1,499 constables who are about to do the class. Nairobi is a center of excellence for training, for compliance. We've trained Kiambu, we've trained Mombasa, and now we're getting even requests from East Africa to train them in our training school in Dagoretti. We also want to have the center of excellence for disaster. So the first batch was 1645.
We are on which page? Page 11?
Page 11, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Proceed.
So the criteria applied in the selection of candidates, of course, there's professional and academic qualifications.
As indicated.
As indicated.
Good. Let's go to
affirmative action measures being implemented in promotion of women, youth, and persons with disabilities, as indicated in issue number 5, Chair. Any audit or assessment undertaken to ascertain inclusivity. We started with looking at our HR manuals to promote inclusivity, but not just to promote inclusivity, to also look at the wellness and welfare of my staff. I am putting together a wellness center in Parklands High Ridge, where the staff can, their mental health issues, they can have counseling, they have gym membership, they can have their, whatever treatment they require, and just to relax and play games and, talk to each other. It's the first county to set that up, because I take very seriously the mental health of my members of staff. Madam Opiata is in charge of that, and she's ensuring that we set that up. But we eliminate biases of, Nairobi is cosmopolitan. We have people from the whole country. 43 communities are represented in Nairobi. That's why we say those who try to put Nairobi in any tribal cocoon are on the wrong. We have everyone. In fact, I have failed because the last governor had even Asians, and I will bring Europeans. They are there in Nairobi, third generation, second generation, and so we don't have that issue. And we were rated the best in terms of inclusivity by the National Commission on Equality.
Chair, Governor, for your information, we have the report from NCIC here.
Yes.
You are number 4. Tana River number 3, Nairobi number 4.
It is not possible, Chair.
It is.
We need to.
Here's the report.
We will appeal. Because yes. I listened for you.
You can only appeal
even
to
the
NCIC.
I will appeal.
Yes, also.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
I don't know if there's another question. There's a question on procurement. I've listed some of the interns for WDF, Ward Development, ward-based projects. But Chair, we will provide that full IPPD data as a great Madam. In terms of 30%, I feel like this is poetic, because when the law was done in 2015, I put it, the law I proposed, and I said, procuring entities must come and report to the Senate. So I'm very happy to come. When young people, women, and persons with disability, 7 billion. The entities have been listed. And the one thing I would advise, sometimes you forget in the law, there's two different things. There's preferences and there's reservations. The only people who should apply for this is women or youth. And sometimes very low level procurement is given in terms of reservations. But when it comes to preferences, what it means is that when an entity is either youth, women, or PWD, in the scoring at the technical evaluation, you start them off with a preference in terms of a higher score. And so if a normal company scores 80% and a youth one scores 60, they are bumped up. Or a women one scores lower. That is what is called a preference. We put in that law because some people were very smart you can be a governor or a PS or a CEO of an institution, and you register a company for your children, and you say it is youth, or your wife, or your girlfriend. So we said that the account, if you look at PPDA, section 53, 54, 55, we said the bank account to which you're paying to, the mandatory signatory must be verified to be that youth, or that woman, or that person living with disability. From there, if they get the money and give it to their sponsor, there's nothing else you can do. You know, you can take the cow to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. The reason we put this is because unless we empower our youth and women and persons living with disability economically, then we cannot empower them politically, we cannot empower them socially. The percentage of this needs to be measured on the procurable budgets. So, for instance, Nairobi budget is 42 billion shillings. But if you have to remove salaries because you're not procuring salaries, you have to remove pensions, personal emoluments, and then base your percentage of the 30% on what is in the procurement plan. And that is what I agreed with my supply chain director. So far we've done 1.37 billion. I would love to do more. But one thing I would urge you as a committee, when you deal with these procuring entities, ask them to do campaigns. We had set up a secretariat within the same law. The secretariat is at Treasury. I think that secretariat needs to be moved to the ministry in charge of youth so they can do campaigns. I once called a meeting at Nairobi Safari Club when I was the chairman of the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association. I chaired that association for 10 years. I put an advertisement and said, any young person who wants to know how to procure, come. I booked a room for 300 people. 3,000 came. The 3,000 who came were not the ones you'd call for a political meeting. Very dignified young people in their suits with their folders. So many want to understand how to procure, but there's not enough training. And so with our Biashara Fund and as Nairobi County, we have signaled 85 officers in all the wards to look for these groups of women, of youth, to do activations, so that once we get the amount of money, 1.5 billion shillings that we've set aside, and it's an interesting fund, with 100 million shillings we're giving to the bank to cover interest and to cover the risk of the loan. The banks are giving us 1.5 billion that we're giving targeted women groups, youth groups, and PWD groups to do business. So we're not giving any company, we're giving those who know. In your market center, you know who are na kinyozi, who are na boda boda. We actually know target. That is what we're doing. So, Chair, I beg to submit. And once again, I am really honored and grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor Nairobi County, Governor Sakaja. Members, I think there is Senator Chimera who is online. Senator Chimera, can you kindly go on record?
Thank you, Chair. My name is Senator Chimera. I come from the Great